Oh, hello there. You've caught me in the middle of a brew. I'm just heating up the mash water here to strike temperature for a feralic rest for the wheat. So that's all in there now already. There's some 2.5 kilos of wheat, about 5 litres of water, probably too much, but that's all doughed in nicely. Just gonna have a little check on the temperature of that. So if we go up here to the stock cupboard, we can pull out our little temperature gauge. We were aiming for 40, but we'd be happy with 38. So where are we? It's going up, it's going up, it's going up. Yep, that's just about on the 40 now. Maybe even 41, 42, 43. That's just a case of the Karlstein, 45 even. That's a case of the Karlstein system overheating the water every time. So I'm going to add a little bit of cold water to that just to take it back down to the acid rest. So yeah, I've added 1 more litre of cold water to get that strike temperature for the acid rest. Hovering about 41 at the moment. That's fine. That'll drop to probably 38 in time after the 30 minutes. In the meantime, I'll get the mash water up in the Karlstein up to the mid 60s. Put the barley in first, and the wheat follows the barley. Last time I put the wheat in first, I had all sorts of scorching on the bottom. So I'm going to put the barley in first. The wheat's a bit lumpy and very powdery actually as well, so it falls through the mesh. So hopefully the barley will stop that happening. The only difficulty doing it this way with the separate strike for the wheat is that there's not much water actually in the mash tun there. There's about 10 litres, but it's only just covering the grain bed, so I'm going to have to be very gentle as I add the barley, and then get some of the liquid from the wheat, get that in there as well, which will take a bit longer to heat up to the strike temperature anyway. So I might end up with a beta-glucane rest actually accidentally, but that's supposed to stop things gunking up as well, so I don't mind a bit of that. There's the wheat still going. That's been in there for about 20 minutes now, probably enough actually, but this is a wheat beer, so I want it fairly acidic. I do like a kind of a citrusy flavour you get from the acid, especially if you're missing the banana flavour from the yeast. And there's my barley, 2.5 ready to go in, so I'll get on with that. I think I'm up to 66 degrees, so that needs to start getting in there. So here we are towards the end of the mash. I've added 100 grams of crystal into there because the colour looked like water. As you can still see, it's pretty light on the EBC, so I wanted it more like 10 on the EBC ratio. So I put 100 grams of crystal in. That will still take a bit of time to filter through. Still got 15 to 20 minutes left on the mash time, so that should be enough time to convert any sugars that are in there. So here I am with 2 minutes left on the mash. What's going to happen now is I'm going to blast the wort to the top of the grain bed, and then as much of it as I can, I'm going to lift the grain basket out to let it drain, and then we can start the sparge. Just a couple of minutes and we'll be on to the sparge. And that's the end of that. So we'll bring all this wort to the top first by pumping it out here. The heating element is off now, so we don't have to worry about anything scorching on the bottom too much. And then we'll raise the grain bed. There you can hear the first stage of the sparge happening. The grain bed is secure on the top. So I put the wort to the top of the grain bed to give it one last rinse through the grain. It's secure on top of the mash tun now. I'm just going to get ready to set up the sparge. So let's go ahead and start the sparge. Water coming down here. Spinning my sparge arm, containing the water in the grain basket. That's going quite well, going quite quickly actually as well, so we'll see. These processes can take anywhere between 30 minutes and I think my worst was 5 hours, but I had a stuck sparge and I had to do all sorts of things to get it through. But we are draining 15 litres of water through it, so we'll see. This is the Grainfather sparge heater. Always remember to turn it off before you start sparging. First time I did it with this, it didn't have a cutout, and it was trying to heat the water and blew me fuse because there was no water left in the machine. That was a schoolboy error, I guess, but didn't break it. Just needed a new fuse. Here we go with the sparge still continuing there. Only a couple of minutes in, actually. This is going to be a quick one, I think. I've dropped the arm a bit lower for a better spread. In fact, I'm going to turn it off for a while. Just let that drain out a bit. I think it's sparging a little bit quicker. The water's coming in quicker than the wort can drain. So, but here we are. The temperature at the bottom, now that we have water in the mash tun, we can start altering that. So we're going to bring this up to mash out temperature of 75 now. So temperature's dropped to 62, but we're going to bring it up to 75 to mash out. And that will be closer to the boil as well, so it's always handy to start that process a bit earlier. Let's keep the sparge water coming then. This sparged arm, I think I bought from the homebrew shop. I found it very useful, although it does drain quite quickly, so I have to kind of turn it off and on sometimes, certainly for this size batch. But yeah, it seems to spread quite well. You don't have to use a spoon, or I've seen other people make them out of copper to kind of spread the water evenly. But I'm happy with this. I think it was £21. I'm pretty happy with it, actually. So I sometimes put it up on these blocks to keep this arm a bit straighter. As you can see now, it doesn't seem to matter, it's wobbling around. And I keep adjusting the length of this tube. I still need to kind of drop that a little bit, and then maybe have the mash tun directly underneath the heater. But it's always a work in progress. And there's 15 grams of Magnat hop, a Polish hop, bittering hop going in. It's probably not particularly a wheat beer style thing, but it's just what I've got in stock and what's going out of thing. Bitter, APA or stout, well, citrusy and woody. I like that in my wheat beers. This is the bittering hop anyway, so 15 grams. It is pellets, it's just kind of falling apart. It's not out of date, but it needs using up. That's the end of the sparge. I'll give it a bit of a squish to get the last juice out, but it's heading up towards the boil. Now there's the wort coming up to the boil. A couple of minutes away there, I'm on 79 degrees. So it does take a while from the mash out to the boil, so it's worth starting it, raising that temperature early. There's the chicken feed. 2.5 kilos of wheat, 2.5 kilos of barley, and 100 grams of crystal. And some people scoop this protein layer off. I'm gonna just mix it back in. And that was my first opportunity to scrape the bottom of the mash tun, scraping away on the element, and actually it feels pretty clean down there, which I'm happy. Putting that barley in first and the wheat on top has made such a difference. Last time I put the wheat in first, it went through the grain bed and through the mesh and onto the element and burnt itself onto the bottom. As the pump recirculated water up, it wasn't filtering down quick enough to stop that happening. So I think I've solved that problem by doing a strike water on the wheat separate to the mash tun. Here it comes again, approaching. It's on 98.9, 99. I'm wondering whether the low pressure today is not helping it get to 100. 99.2. If we can hit 100, it will start the timer. I can put the hops in and off we go. So I'm definitely not going to leave this lid on once that hops are in. That's asking for trouble. You can see it's boiling up now. It's bubbling away. That's a rolling boil. See if we can get a bit more ventilation in here as well. Ugh. Still 99.8. Come on, 100. Right, that beep signifies the timer. So I'm going to take this off now. As you can see, it's boiling up quite a lot. I'm going to bypass the hop spider, put the hops in. I wouldn't do that in a full batch. I'll put it in gently. Let that bubble away for a bit. Give it a bit of a stir. Stir back in that hop break protein. And let that boil for an hour. And it's not until the last 5 minutes I'm going to put more hops in. So that's good for an hour now. Or 55 minutes. I've taken a sample. I can still feel that's pretty warm there. But once that gets down to about 20 degrees, then we can read the hydrometer to see what the pre-boil wort was. The temperature at the moment is sitting around 15 or 16 degrees there, so it's going to be before room temperature, or garage temperature rather. The reading at the moment is about 1.05. We're expecting 1.047, so I think I've broken my 75% efficiency. I'm probably more like 80, but we'll find that out soon. Still boiling away at this end. 15 grams of magnet again. Just to show you here how my counter wort chiller is going. I'm taking this wort down to between 77 and 80 degrees to do a hop stand, sterilising my whirlpool arm at the same time. That's on the end of the drill. And here we are sitting. Oh, it's bombing down in temperature now. We're already down at 86 from the boil, so I better go and get ready to turn the tap off. So here we are with the hop stand. We are 83 degrees at the moment, so just letting that settle down, and then in with the hops. 82. We were looking for kind of 77 to 80, so 81. We're really dropping the temperature quite quick here. I've got the water off at the moment, so it's just the recirculation in my wort chiller. There's the wort chiller. 81. Once we hit 80, I'm going to stick it in and start whirlpooling. Right, we just got below 80 degrees, so in go the rest of the hops. There's another 18.5 grams in there, so that was a total of 48.5 grams. That was the whole packet. So I'm going to see if I can show you now, without dropping my phone into the wort, what the whirlpool will do. Yeah, you get the general idea, but I need both hands for this stage, so I'll get that done. 10 minutes of that. So I did that for 5 minutes. That's good enough for me. I'm going to whirlpool while I decant into the fermenter as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this wort cooled down to a reasonable temperature, I guess. Just to give you an idea of me whirlpooling while the wort's coming out. I think the temperature says 28.7 there, so it's a little bit high actually for what I want. So I'm just going to go and turn the tap water up a tad more, so you can get it to like below 25 at the end. Here's just a little experiment I'm doing. I had quite a trubby liquid come out when I took my hydrometer reading. So, I mean, I have left it a while, so I guess a lot of it settled to the bottom already and just came out the tap, which is good to get it out from the tap, but pretty disgusting. So I don't really trust the hydrometer reading, so I'm just filtering it through some paper here. And you can see what the colour is. That's something like 10 EBC wheat beer there. Looks lovely in the glass. Obviously this gunk that came out with it is probably affecting the hydrometer reading, so I'm going to use a refractometer and see what that says instead.